Hey, friendos, welcome back. Hey, Crunk and Eben and Cetho and Omni. I'm sorry I'm late. I wanted to... My former boss came to work to see the show, and I wanted to stick around to say hi to her. But we are here now, and honestly, there's only a limited amount of time that I can play this before getting stupid anyway, so what's the difference if we take a little off the front or a little off the back? But clearly I'm feeling a lot better than I was the other day. Yay! So, let's see... Oh, that weird anomaly of paper sticking out the end went away. Oh, okay. I panicked for a second. I'm like, where'd all my papers go? What do you need, Zeno? You've got a chair. That's all you get. No, you don't get to come closer, actually. That's why you've got the chair. He literally, like... I took a pill... I took a half a pill beyond what I should have. And he sat literally here. He just got... I was on the couch. He got up to here. And I just felt the headache go away. I'm sure it was probably the pill and not specifically my cat. But, you know... Also, I showed Little Alla that song, specifically the Tumblr Fallout edit that I like, that I prefer to the actual, like, live version of Flight of the Conchords. And she... I'm not sure if it psychically damaged her, if she loved it. You know, one or the other. Alright. What the fuck do we have going on here? Yes, that's true. That's true. Well, maybe live version is incorrect, but whatever actual full-length version of the song that Flight of the Conchords put out, I don't care for that one. I like the one, I like somebody's fucking Fallout edit. I need to stop leaving my glasses down here. I think we get 3 more before we get the next help. Okay, alright, I'm sorry, there's actually no other version, that's the only version. Hey! Sounds like Zeno's running upstairs, but Zeno's right here. Alright, so we know the Wilson children's names, but we don't know what they look like or what they do. I think Samantha's correct. I think Ernie Jr. is correct, so I think we just really need one more. No, Ernie Jr. married Deborah Bean. This is still not second cousin. I know who my second cousin is, and my second cousin is my grandfather's brother's kid. That's not right. Well, that's the only picture we have of November. Yeah, I guess you're right. I kind of expected her to have a secondary picture if she got older. This is in the this is in the third generation though, because she's in here in the 70s. She's from the picture of the 70s. I still think it's this one because they have the same hair. But then who is the last one? Because it's in this generation. I guess this is probably not. I guess this is... I wish it would let me zero out the name also. Jim Rootree, okay. So Jim is in here. And I think it's him. Oh, no, just kidding. Sorry, I got that confused. Jack. All right, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so theoretically we do actually have everybody here. This is November. This has got to be November. Bonnie. Guy Hudson. One of these two are Ernie. Caroline is that one. Gwyneth is... Nope, sorry. I think this is Gwyneth. Gwendolyn. Can't tell if they're holding hands. Jim. Clark. No, wait, that's Carl. Clark is one of these. And then Eli. Okay, what if they're holding hands? I don't think they are, but what if they are? I don't think that's right. Because Lauren had said that one of her generation had a kid with someone who they couldn't have married if they were below the Pennsylvania state line. And the only person that I could have that be was her brother, Edward, because that was the only one that still had kids left. I guess Eli could, but was that higher just a second ago? No. Okay, so I don't think this is going to go up until we get all three. It doesn't feel right because they're not close in the picture, which I guess they don't have to be, but that just feels weird. Unless I'm fixating on her and she's part of the secret at the end. Alright, I don't think I need this one anymore. Let's try to wiggle it Gwyn. Hmm. Okay, Ernie Madsen. Due to heart illness, Ernie Jr. is stepping down as president of Roottrees at the start of the second quarter of '96. His second cousin Carl, president of sister company Root and former Watchman of the Year, will take over. It has been 13 years since Ernie was forced to step into the role of president unexpectedly. Back then, not much was known about the man other than his full name. In the years since, he's taken on a bit of a reputation as a real-life Wonka. He's known as a bit eccentric and reclusive, opting simply to be called Ernie Jr. and to forego the typical luxuries of the average root tree. But in our estimation, he's been a shrewd businessman with an eye for sweets. Sorry. Ernie Jr. has led Roottrees to record profits by developing new products, including the ever-popular Maple Crisps, and by spearheading the formation of Root with his cousin in 1982 after learning Brenda Roottrees' power in the fashion community. Okay, in 1959, there's a small blurb about Zach Morden, son of James and Gwendolyn Morden. Right. Oh my god, stop. And grandson of Elias Roottree inheriting the candy company. He's quoted as saying, "Elias entrusted me with carrying on his legacy, and that's what I plan to do. Along with 5 pieces, our chocolate maple products are selling incredibly well. We will not be making any changes." Yeah, right? Oh my god, Baker got me 4 chocolate bars. I forgot how thick they are, too. They're chunky. All right, a small article from 1997. Guy Hudson, along with his twin sister, are no strangers to the public when it comes to Roottrees snacks. They both appeared in the company's advertisements as children during the Boys and Girls Agree era. Now, Guy is taking over the Roottree company at the end of the year. What? Who would have known that one of those 2 adorable redheads, Guy credits his mother and father, Angie and Christopher. Okay. Oops. With providing his fiery due, arguing over everything but chocolate would grow up to take over the whole company? Guy's uncle and current president, Zachariah, has decided to take an early retirement to focus on traveling the world with his wife. Zach was quoted as saying, "Now that our daughters have started families of their own, Clara..." Clara and I plan to reflect on a life well lived. Guy is new to the business world, but he's family. We at Roottree have faith in his innovative ideas, and he's eager to share them with the world. We like to think Boys and Girls Agree that he's ready to succeed. Okay, he was the 3rd president, and then Carl was the 4th. Okay, that's why I had that as 4th, right. Although the Butler County Times does not archive their obituaries, they did a front-page story in 1982 about Guy Hudson and his wife Patricia dying in a car accident. The story itself is surprisingly light on relevant details due to the recency of the accident. Police reported that the crash was caused by an unidentified driver who swerved in front of the Hudson's car, causing them to brake hard and veer off the interstate. Although Guy was a somewhat controversial president, foul play is not suspected. There were witnesses who reported that the vehicle which instigated the wreck was speeding, swerving between lanes and cutting other drivers off, as well for at least 5 or 6 minutes before the tragic accident. One witness says it could have been any one of us who they eventually ran off the road. The aggressor fled after the accident, and police have few leads other than make and model. Guy had been president of the Roottree Company for only 4 years, though through an undoubtedly volatile period in the company's history. He and his wife had no children. Hmm. Okay. Miracle Roottree and his son, who goes exclusively by Miracle Jr., have appeared in the Butler County Times a great deal over the years. The Miracle Network, which is a collection of churches, television shows, and products that can be purchased, has multiple advertisements in each issue. You do find one article mentioning legal troubles. Unfortunately, it's a throwaway line in an article about a tour they plan to take across the southern United States called the 3 Generations of Miracles tour. The author speculates they're going on tour to leave their legal troubles behind. Because of all the advertisements, the results in the Butler County Times are not particularly relevant to your search. Any attempts to find out more about these legal troubles are thwarted. Oh, fuck you. Damn it. This is just not correct. Yeah. not sure who else. Alright, this has gotta be Eli, because he looks like Pa. Sorry, Pop. This is her and her brothers. Definitely a little stumped. The Roottrees Maple Super Bowl commercial from 1994 has a family bickering in a department store, and the father bites into a Roottrees Maple Crisp. Time stops and a jingle plays while he dances down the aisle. As he does, different things in the department store become Roottrees candy. For example, a bed that the father collapses into becomes a giant chocolate bar. The jingle Need the Rest went on to be featured in other commercials with other scenarios. This is the famous jingle for Roottrees Maple Crisps originating in the Super Bowl commercial. The jingle goes, "When you're surrounded by madness and mayhem, reach for the best. There's enough there to share, but let's face it, you need the rest." Well, that didn't really help. Oh dear. Yeah, go for it, Ron. What's up? There are things I'm just like struggling with clicking buttons on. There's still something in here. Oh, it's literally in here. So it must be Sam. All right, so that definitely tells me that Sam is, or Eli is the mechanic, but we already really kind of guessed that from his outfit. Sorry, Ron. Ugh. Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. Oh, we already did that. So it's got to be this. I don't know, man. I really think this is November. Dino, stop. Swashbuckle my heart. Oh my god, I hate... Oh, great. Here we go. Here's something good. According to the back of the book, this is A Buried Treasure by Lauren Roottrees and from the author of the Court series. It also says, keep an eye out for Lauren Roottrees' next book, Revisiting the Diary 10 years later. This was the first version of Lauren Roottrees' diary released in 1975. Unlike the original diary, it contains no pictures but has many new passages that reflect on her thoughts 10 years later. One major event happened between the releases that changed Lauren's outlook on certain subjects, the death of Elias. A summary of the fallout has been added to your notes, as well as some other select pages. The new diary opens with an explosive incident that happened in the decade between the release and re-release of Lauren's diary. Elias Roottree had died, and during the reading of his will, there was an audible gasp when a certain name was read aloud, Samantha Roottree. Although Sam and her children were not meant to receive monetary inheritance, he had a stipulation that she retain the rights to run the farm and any and all decisions related to it. It was then that the scandalous secret came out. None of the 5 pieces were surprised, but it was quite a shock to everyone else, including Sam. She had been told her parents died. Apparently, Sam was the illegitimate daughter of Elias Jr. and Patricia Christensen. Okay. So I was there. Patricia, the daughter of a local steel mogul, and Eli Jr. harbored a secret romance at age 16. She became pregnant, and after the birth, her father refused to let her see Eli Jr. ever again. Her baby, Samantha, was sent to the Roottrees. Elias hid her away with a local farmhand known as EC. Patricia, that must be the small picture in the back. Patricia was married off to a much older man and sent away. That was the end of that, almost. None of the next gens had ever met or heard of Patricia until she unexpectedly reappeared, now going by Patsy. After Patsy's husband died, she reunited with Eli Jr. and they finally married in their 50s. Lauren mentioned the wedding in her first diary without knowing Patsy's history. Eli Jr. had never taken another lover. Lauren, ever the romantic, quite appreciated this. When Patsy and Eli Jr. finally married, Elias decided Sam should have been a Roottree in the first place. Even though she was not part of the clan's trust, he wanted to include her in the family affairs. That was what led to Lauren's initial entry titled Sam. This is a page of additional notes and context from the 1975 10-year anniversary re-release of Lauren's diary. It's a companion piece to the entry about Sam. Clearly, I did not know our true family history when I wrote this. I didn't even know Sam was a Roottree. All my doubts were ill-founded. She's a fine woman. Had she the chance to grow up with us, Sam might have been the sister figure Gwen never was. Ernie and the kids are lucky to have her, and her children seem eager to help the family in their own way. Ernie Jr. has been learning the day-to-day from Zach. It's been a long, long time since any real Roottree was as excited and interested in the actual candy as Ernie. As a bonus, Gwyneth has the green thumb of her mother and her adopted grandfather. I don't know that for a fact. What I'm most ashamed of is not figuring it all out myself. Sam's a spitting image of Patsy with her jet black hair and green eyes. She doesn't have the thick glasses Patsy did, of course, but I guess that skips a generation. Great. Okay, so I've got him correct. Why haven't I... What is wrong? Her children have that covered. Ah. There we go.
On the phone, I said I owed you an explanation, but I can't reveal everything. Not yet. I'm sure this all seems like deception for deception's sake, so I'll try to explain why. It's true, I'm working with lawyers, but not the candy company lawyers, my publisher's lawyers. I'm on the verge of releasing a book, and it's not kind to the Roottrees, especially Elias and the 5 Pieces. The truth often isn't. But with the plane crash, the publisher is rightfully worried it'll look like I'm making things up to exploit a tragedy. So they're doing their due diligence. That's why you're here. To be sure there's enough evidence for an expert to unearth the whole story. If I tell you the whole story now, we can't prove that. I hope you understand. That said, I can say that the work you're doing is very personal to me. To my story, one spot on the tree is more important than the rest. You've likely noticed it. It's locked for now. I'll return one final time, after you fill it in. Also, there are fewer Roottrees left. In a sense, that makes it easier. Use process of elimination.
Oh, sure.
It's also harder to verify when you're right. You'll need 4 blood relatives before they lock from here on out. I don't have any more evidence for you, but trust your intuition. If something has a high number, it's not a mistake. You're getting closer and closer to the truth. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Why does it keep doing this? This is so funny. All right. Her children have that covered. It's hard to explain the look on Pop's face when they read that the farm's operations would pass to Samantha Roottrees for as long as she was willing. I got flashbacks to when Zach was made president. Mother reframed it a bit to calm him down. Sam wouldn't receive any candy money after all, and was essentially inheriting the right to rule over the peasants for eternity. Pop warned us away from that farm for years. I never met EC in person, but Pop once referred to him as a confirmed bachelor, and I suspect that's why he kept us from there. Sam had to grow up in a house with him and his roommate, Mr. Miller. I'm not sure Sam will ever forgive Uncle Junior or Patsy for abandoning her to that life. If I were her, I might never forgive them either. But even so, she seems to blame more than just the two of them. She has no problems with us next-gens, but she has a palpable hatred for the Five Pieces and Elias and Gwyneth. What? Oh, sorry, Gwyneth. This is... oh, okay. Reading this back, I get deja vu. As I write this addendum, Clark's got married again. No Roottrees has ever remarried. Sure, I lost Jacob, and Gwen divorced Wild Bill before she had her second. It was Wild Bill, but what's his fucking name? What would be William in French? Nope. The LaRues are the only ones that I can kind of guess, but like... Starlet. Let me look that up real quick. Okay. Starlet was a magazine that started with the colorization of film and went around until 1964. Generally, it was a tabloid with a focus on famous actors and actresses. It didn't much go into any other aspects of filmmaking or Hollywood news. Gwen Roottrees was often in Starlet. Most mentions were around the time of her divorce in 1958 from Wild Bill Williams. The gossip is speculative and full of tabloid stereotypes. Wow, my eyes are not doing okay today. Some of it focuses on the fact that when she announced her divorce, she also announced she was pregnant again. Others mention that the rumor is Wild Bill had multiple affairs, which left her heartbroken. There's also an interview from earlier in mid-1957 when she was asked about her last name. She answered, "The power of a name is undeniable. My grandfather constantly preached the importance of family names and honoring them. My father decided to bless me with a famous name. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottrees... Cornwall. There's nothing wrong with Cornwall, but Roottrees has power. My husband similarly goes by Wild Bill. It's an infamous name he repurposed for himself because he didn't have the benefit of being born with a famous one. But Wilde, combined with the alliteration Williams, is incredibly memorable. Although we've relocated to Paris, I know your readers love to keep up with my husband, so consider this a Starlit exclusive about both of us. Wild Bill and I have a child in the way, and we're sticking with Roottree for the last name, not Williams. But we also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we'll honor both our family names for the next generation. No Williamses. Okay. With the way the world is moving, I guess it was inevitable someone in this family would remarry. I just wish it wasn't my son. I can only wonder if Clark's apparent disrespect for marriage is due to the lack of a real father. I did what I could, and Lord knows Eli C. stepped up and helped. More than I can say for Clancy or Edward. Eli C. practically raised Clark and Jim as brothers, whenever he could. Eli's marriage seems fine, and Jim's marriage seems solid as a rock, pun intended. So, who knows what causes these things? I suspect that he's marrying Jane to keep her from running out on the band. Without her, he'd be the third wheel, and I imagine they wouldn't last long as a trio. But still, I don't think a marriage on such a shaky foundation can last, and Lord knows I was right last time. Addresses feedback. The biggest complaint I got after publishing my diary was how many similar names there are. And I get it, there are 4 Elis for Pete's sake, but that's how it is. Someone would say I saw Eli in town, and I wouldn't know which one they meant. My brother? My uncle? My cousin? That's why they became Uncle Junior, or Miracles Eli, or Eli C. Our family names were always unusual. Grandpa Elias was a believer in using the names of each generation to honor those in the last. His father and Grandma Gwyneth's father were named Edward and Clancy, so now you see where my pop's name came from. One thing that's always been consistent in our family, though, is that anytime someone's a junior, they're always the firstborn son. That goes for Miracle, Eli, or even Clancy. With the women, however, it all goes out the window. I think Gwendolyn got her name from some combination of Gwyneth and Caroline, who was Elias's mother. Women's names tend to get all mixed up as the generations went on. I guess that's because there's no female equivalent of junior. So if you're reading my diary and confused, you're not alone. Even the government had problems. I remember once receiving certified mail for an Edward Clancy Rootree. I had to break the news that they got my father's name backwards. Fun bonus. Apparently, this is the first thing she could find that she ever wrote. She knows it was for a school assignment about anger, and she believes based on the teacher's name she must have been in the 3rd grade. She doesn't exactly remember the events spelled out here, but does remember getting in trouble. I got angry when I met a new girl who I did not like. She was dirty and did not have a pretty dress. Me and Pop walked home in town and she hugged him. When I told her he was my Pop, she pushed me. I got angry and yelled at her, and Pop said to treat her nice. Then she said, "Your Pop is my dad." She screamed it loud in my ear. She was lying to me, and lying is not a nice thing, so I pushed her too. Then I got in trouble. Then Pop took her away and told me, "Don't worry, I'm glad she's gone." What? Unless he just had a random bastard and it's not on this. I thought the random bastard was over here. Wild Bill Williams was mentioned many times throughout the magazine's lifespan, with stories and gossip about who he had been seen with in public, blondes mostly. 3 specific passages stand out. The first mention, yeah, I got the name right, nice. The first mention is one of his first roles was under his real name, Walter Forsythe. The second is an interview. Although he doesn't mention her by name, you determine from context he's talking about Gwyn Roottrees. An apology to all the ladies, I'm actually taken. Earlier this year, I did a friend a favor. He was directing a war movie and asked me to play a small part. Wouldn't you know it, that son of a bitch cut me from the picture. I'm just ribbing, it wasn't his fault. Apparently, the studio didn't want to pay for a star of my caliber. I got the last laugh, though. I met someone. She spent most of the film crying. She was playing a soldier's wife. But even through the tears, she was incredible. I know I tend to have a reputation, but this one's true love. I only have eyes for her. Ironically, the third is a rumor that his divorce from Gwyn was due to multiple affairs, including one with another actress. An American reader on vacation in Paris claims to have overheard Wild Bill and Gwyn arguing in public while she was holding a baby and visibly pregnant. Not long after, Gwyn announced she was divorcing Wild Bill and that she was pregnant again, giving this rumor more credibility. Alright. Jane Del Vecchio is listed on a talent for hire site as a wedding singer. Way down in the credentials section of her biography, it mentions she got her start as a young girl when she was Jane LaRue of the Lucky LaRues. It also mentions the only contact her agent It also mentions to only contact her agent in the event that you actually wish to hire her, and that any and all inquiries about her past or her sister would be ignored. In an article from 1968, you find a small section focusing on young, upcoming talent that Modern Music Monthly predicts will make it big. It has to say this about the LaRues. The LaRue sisters got their start doing session work for their great-uncle's record label. If you remember any songs from the 60s, 65 that featured the voices of kids, they were probably involved. Back then, they were credited as the Lucky LaRues. Now that he's passed, they've moved on to bigger and better ventures and are going by their full names. Diamond and Jane have been touring with some famous faces, ever heard of the Roottrees, and are looking to release an album sometime in the next year. Youngest Kim is about to step onto a prominent role on Broadway, taking over for one of the children in Oliver. Lucky LaRues indeed. Yeah. It didn't confirm the rumor, it just gave it more credibility. Hmm. I don't even know how to get to these kids. You find a site about successful ad campaigns. One of the ads listed is from the late 50s. Boys and girls agree. It's a series of television and magazine ads for Roottrees chocolate bars. The ad campaign is described as having the premise that boys and girls are often diametrically opposed, except when it comes to one thing. Both of them agree that Roottrees is their favorite. The first advertisement in the series was the most memorable due to the bright red hair of the boy and girl involved. One of the magazine advertisements has been added to your evidence. Oh god, I hate these buttons. An interesting button fact? Do tell. Was it? Fascinating. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, so there's gotta be a dancer. Alright, so he kind of looks older. I don't know, baby, like, I guess you could be, she had a baby and she was pregnant, so they're only like a year or two apart, so they could both be, really, they could be either. They could both be college students, or they could both be... We're kind of running out of root trees. We've got 3 left. And this has to be 2 of them, because... And then this has to be the other. No, this one's gotta be Jack. I guess it doesn't have to be, but like... These are the last 3 root trees. We get her brother-in-law, Dr. Wilson? Yes. No. He must be Jason. Dr. Stephen Wilson is a pediatrician who practices... Stephen? That can't be right. Where did I have him? Well, it must be him. Although there are a lot of Stephen Wilsons and Dr. Wilsons, this one apparently found a way to game the search result as he pops to the top every time. His website claims that he's the pediatrician to the stars. The only evidence for this is that he apparently was the doctor to the Roottrees sisters. There's a picture of him on his website, as well as a picture of his 3 children. The 3 of them look as though the photographer was holding them hostage. Regardless, the photos have been added to your evidence. There's also a quote that, although credited to his child Jason, you suspect might not be written by a 10-year-old. My dad is the best dad in the entire world, and he treats every patient with world-class care. He will treat your children like he would me, my big brother, or my sister. Jason's the middle child. Wow. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, fuck you, Zach Morton. I got your whole family. I don't know that the stream freaked out. We have not been dropping frames. It might just be you. Alas. Oh, great. Fun for everyone. Well, honestly, I think I kind of hit my limit of things that I can think about today anyway, so maybe I'll just take that as an opportunity to quit here. I know I'm not usually on Fridays. I don't know what usually even matters anymore because usually is not what it's fucking, I don't know what's happening. But I'll be on tomorrow, barring another migraine or work emergency. So I'll just wrap it up here and we'll maybe hopefully have some good ideas next time when we come back. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that everybody can see me and aren't surprised when I'm suddenly gone. Bye.